We've been waiting a long time for a Sonic racing game to recapture the magic of Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. Team Sonic Racing didn't come close to hitting the mark, so there's a lot riding on Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. And I'll admit, the first beta did not impress me, really at all. Items were unbalanced, driving didn't feel very good, and the CrossWorlds mechanic itself really hadn't sold itself to me yet. But having played the full version of the game, I have a much more rounded opinion on what's going on here. The main new feature in Sonic Racing CrossWorlds is the CrossWorlds mechanic. The second lap of a Grand Prix race will take place on a different track. That can either be a track that is specifically designed to be a CrossWorlds track, or it can be a lap from any of the existing full tracks in the game. The player in first will be given the option of taking on a specific track or a random one. And I believe the intended strategy is to pick whatever track you think you're most confident in. When I first experienced this, I thought it was a cool novelty, but nothing that really changed the gameplay all that much. Now that I've played and beaten all the Grand Prix, I have more of an appreciation for this gameplay mechanic. While I haven't felt the strategy element of it being all that important, I do enjoy the variety of changing a second lap to something different gives. It does take out some of the monotony of playing the same races over and over again. Sure, you're going to start experiencing a lot of the same CrossWorlds sections over and over again, but the fact that they can appear in any racetrack makes it a little bit more enjoyable. And it is pretty cool seeing the entire world change right in front of you. You could be racing around White Palace, go through a portal, and suddenly find yourself amongst dinosaurs. They make for cool set pieces, feel like a roller coaster ride, don't really harm the experience in any way. The CrossWorlds mechanic gives Sonic Racing just a little bit of extra flavor. It doesn't bleed into its previous entries, it really does feel like it stands alone because of this new mechanic. It's not groundbreaking, but it's fun. The main racetracks come from the wide world of Sonic the Hedgehog. There's a lot here for fans. I was really happy to see a lot of modern Sonic stuff, such as White Palace from Shadow Generations and Sonic Frontiers representation in both the track and with Sage as a playable character. They're great representations of the games that they come from, and I'm really glad that they're here. In Grand Prix, you have the ability to collect red rings on the courses. They're in set positions, the game remembers which ones you've collected, so you can try and try again, but only having 2 laps to collect all 5 rings versus a full 3 can be a little bit frustrating. I could see some people being annoyed that you're not going to spend all 3 laps on the track you selected, a very real problem that Mario Kart World players are experiencing. But I don't think it's nearly that bad. The actual racing, on the other hand, I'm not super hot on. I'd say it's pretty good, but it doesn't feel as tight to control as I'd like it to. You don't really feel any grip in your tires when you're just turning normally. You really only get that sensation when you're drifting. And when you go off-road, it can be way more punishing than I think it needs to be. Obviously, going off-road won't happen as much as you get better and better at the game, but the machines you have available to you at the beginning don't handle super well. I just wish I had a little bit more control over my kart than I do. You can make up for some of the mistakes you make with the items, of course, but for people who've played the beta, you know that the items can be a little crazy. I'm happy to report that they've dialed it way back since then, and item balance does feel better. To me, it doesn't feel perfect, but it is better. I often find myself in second place, racing against a high-level rival in a Grand Prix, and being unable to catch up to them no matter what I do. And part of the problem is the items I end up getting. I just don't get anything that's going to meaningfully increase my place in the race. And because you have the entire pack behind you in second place, you are just constantly being pelted by stuff. This is true in other kart racers as well, but it feels especially bad here. Some of the more powerful items don't feel like they appear enough. A lot of these items are analogs of Mario Kart items, of course, and one of them, which is like the bullet bill, the drill, I have never encountered. I still haven't seen it, but I know it's in the game. There's a Mega Mushroom-like that turns you into a monster truck, but that one doesn't last super long. I really like the way they handle the green shell equivalent. You'll get a little cursor on your screen that will lock onto an opponent if you line it up with them correctly, so they're actually easier to land than traditional green shells in Mario Kart. You can of course also use items to defend yourself, and one thing I really appreciate about Sonic Racing CrossWorlds, when you're about to be hit by an item that you can defend yourself against with an item you currently have, the game will put a little pop-up on the screen telling you to press the item button. It was nice to actually be taught some of these things, especially in a pre-release situation like this where I have nobody to ask. I found that when I was in first place, I did oftentimes get items that could defend me. Specifically this tornado that can defend against all kinds of items. There might have been too many options for me to defend myself in first place. I'm still not entirely sure where I land on that. I think that'll become more apparent once we're all able to go online and play multiplayer. Speaking of multiplayer, I was unfortunately not able to play online during the review period, so I don't quite know what this game is going to look like when playing with other people. I think one of my concerns is that Sonic Racing CrossWorlds won't have enough of a community to sustain its multiplayer. I hope that's not the case, because this kind of game lives and dies by its multiplayer. It's easy for Mario Kart to get away with, because Mario Kart always sells ridiculous amounts of copies. Sonic Racing doesn't. I wish it did, but it doesn't. I hope there's a dedicated community that's born out of this game to keep the online going. It's just hard to say at this point. I love the cast of characters available. There are so many characters from the Sonic universe to choose from, including newer characters like Sage from Sonic Frontiers. I would have liked to see some other characters like Mighty and Ray, but I feel like the very core cast of Sonic characters is here and available to play. Characters are divided up into a few classes, such as Acceleration, Boost, Speed, or Power, and you can customize your machines to make the best of those stats. I don't really like the machine customization system though. Visually speaking, I really enjoy it. You can change your colors, you can change the front and back of your vehicle, you can change your tires. I enjoy that element, but the stat building element of Sonic Racing CrossWorlds is a little too complicated. It's not quite as simple as it is in Mario Kart 7 or 8, where you get to the character select screen and you just put a machine together. Machine parts are divided by class, so you can't mix and match everything. You don't have to do that, of course, but you might struggle a little bit, especially in the Grand Prix, if you're not paying attention. I understand the intent here, but I could have lived without it. You also have the ability to equip gadgets that can do all kinds of things. You can start a race with a boost wisp, you can make it so you get boosts every time you run into an enemy, you can give yourself a 4th level of drift charge. There's quite a variety of abilities on offer, and I again find myself thinking that this just doesn't really belong in a kart racer. As I said before, it'll be more clear how this will affect overall gameplay and multiplayer once we're able to go online and play, but as it stands right now, I just don't want to overcomplicate my racing. I suppose this is nice for people that crave this level of customization, but this is just not what I'm looking for in a kart racer. The Grand Prix feature a rival system that I really like. Before you enter a Grand Prix, you'll be assigned a random rival. They'll have a set difficulty level that the game will suggest you race against. You can increase or decrease this as you want, though if you go for a higher difficulty, you'll get more tickets as a reward, which you can then spend on the in-game shop. I think this feature is really disguising itself as an overall difficulty level. You'll have speed classes like you do in Mario Kart, but that doesn't appear to affect difficulty the way this rival system does, and I appreciate that. I can play the game at higher speeds without the brutal and sometimes unfair difficulty that can come along with it. So if you're looking just to get gold in the cups and then go online, you can do that without too much struggle. Once I got to the top 2-3 levels of difficulty, the game started feeling really brutal. So if you're looking for a challenge, there is certainly some to be found here, but I really appreciate how much it can be tuned. Maybe you'll play at a higher difficulty, build a specific machine around that, pick gadgets that fit your playstyle and make you better in the ways that you like to play. The game doesn't force you to interact with these elements, which I appreciate, but they're here if you want them. Probably the coolest thing about the rival system is the voice dialogue that will happen between your characters. Every pair of characters have unique interactions between each other. They'll talk smack to each other before the beginning of the Grand Prix. They'll make callouts to one another during actual races if you pass somebody or if you hit them with an item. It pulls so much from the Sonic universe. I really feel like I'm playing a Sonic the Hedgehog racing game. And for a lot of people, that's going to be the most important part. So while I'm not as big on the actual racing mechanics as other people might be, as a Sonic fan, I feel sufficiently fed here. I didn't run into any particular game-breaking bugs or anything of the sort, but I did run into a funny one that I wanted to share here. I had to record this via my PS5 because I wasn't capturing at the time, but I went an entire Grand Prix playing as Metal Sonic stuck in a T-pose, and it was really funny. Again, no bugs that affected my gameplay outright, but just a funky visual one that I thought you might like to see. I think Sonic Racing CrossWorlds has a strong foundation. It's not exactly where I want it in terms of gameplay, but it's a lot better than when I played it the first time. I think there's still room to make tweaks to the gameplay system, but everything around the gameplay system, take it or leave it, I think is pretty good. I think a lot of Sonic fans are going to be happy with Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. You'd have great thematic race courses from the Sonic series, incredible music as always, and a big roster of characters from the Sonic world. And because of that, GVG awards Sonic Racing CrossWorlds an 8 out of 10. Thanks so much for watching. For all your gaming news, reviews, and everything in between, subscribe to GVG, we have a lot more on the way. But until then, keep the games good and the vibes greater. Bye now.